the thing with Genji, and here's the thing, I'm gonna blow everybody's mind. Not really. Is that positioning is so important for farming Blade and also diving. So the last Genji VOD review we did was a Genji and McCree slash duo on Plat at Plat, and then we talked about how a lot of people think of Genji as like you're either farming Blade or you're diving backline, and there's two different play styles. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's mostly a load of horse manure, because if you're playing in a proper angle, a proper position on the map, you're going to be farming Blade more, faster, but you're also going to be in a good position to actually assassinate people at the same time. Because remember, the goal isn't just to farm Blade, it's not just to get picks, it's to put out pressure. Pressure is resources forced your way, attention forced your way, damage done, ult charge built, things like that, that lead to kills, that lead to team fights being won. So for you as Genji, yes, there are some Genjis that will play a little bit more aggressively in angles. There's those that will play a little bit more passively. But if you're standing behind Rein Shield as Genji and thinking that you're playing the passive style to build Blade, you're not. You're just a donkey. That's just what you are. That's not how you play Genji under any circumstances for any reason. Now you can play this high ground here and hide and wait for somebody to come up and just annihilate them. Or you can play this high ground here and poke out and farm, ult charge. Now they've got a Widow right now, so we'll talk about the exceptions. But basically, Genji is an exceptional hero in short to mid ranges with pressure, especially with high grounds, because his cooldowns allow him to actively take duels, and more importantly, they allow him to threaten duels, which is why he baits a lot of attention. In other words, you climb this high ground here. If there's a Hanzo up here, that Hanzo has to 100% respect you. Not only in terms of like, oh, I have to actually see you, but like, let's say there's like a Hanzo versus Hanzo duel. I can't just Sonic this and be like, ignore it, right? Or I can if it's a Hanzo versus Hanzo duel and just spam, right? But if this is a Hanzo versus Genji duel, I not only have to Sonic it, but I have to be on my toes because I'm expecting that moment. At any moment, that Genji's gonna dash me and kill me, right? So I'm scared. Not only do I have to respect it, but I'm also scared. So I think with Genji, it's more about short to medium range angles on either squishies or tanks, and put constant pressure from where you're at. Now, here's the thing. If there are no squishies taking angles, if their entire team stacks up together, or there are no squishies that you can take angles on, then you don't have to worry about dueling people or pressuring them out. You could just focus on shooting tanks. Another way of thinking about it is like, let's say this enemy, like they push the cart all the way to here, and the enemy Widow grapples up to here. You do not have to kill this Widow to get value. You could jump up here, throw shurikens, make the Widow Venom Mine, and then drop from high ground to this position here, and you've done good work. Because yes, she's not killable anymore, but she's left a good position. You forced her out of a good position, and then what do? You've made her drop. Well, now I'm going to take this position and spam your tank line. Okay? So we've talked about a lot, but this is really, really important with Genji, okay? So take good little high ground angles, and we'll give some more visual examples as this fight goes on. Now, the thing with Genji is he is extremely strong on maps where the high ground is really strong. So in other words, and it's also not only that, but points. For example, if you were spawn camping, Genji wouldn't be amazing. If you're playing here, Genji's not amazing. If the fight breaks out here, Genji's amazing because this high ground is very relevant. Okay, so you want high ground on a flank. That's what you want. All right. So you have to be very careful here because you do not want to be using too many cooldowns just to protect space your team's not going for it. Okay. Now this is the interesting thing, chat. This is where I'm gonna blow your mind. Okay. I'm gonna blow your mind. Okay. Let's say this Monkey and D.Va stayed up here. Which they should have, by the way. Dropping to tickle a Reinhardt just isn't worth. What should our Genji have done? Right. You're going to walk up here. You're going to wall climb up. And you're going to throw shurikens. And you're going to poke them out. Because you have better poke than they do. And even if the monkey walks into you, you're still going to be like, okay, well, I can just walk away a little bit. I'm going to force bubble. I'm going to force matrix. I'm not going to let you take this high ground at a range that's actually favorable to me and let you do anything about it. And guess what, chat? You'll win. You'll win. This isn't just about farming Blade. You will win. You will force either bubble or matrix or jump, or you'll force a ton of healing. You will win this duel. And you'll build Blade as a side benefit. And what you have done is not only have you put pressure and forced healing and resources, you will make them either screw off the high ground or make them expend more money to try and hold it, right? More cooldowns, more expenses. And if you force them off of high ground, guess what? You've done your Reinhardt a huge favor. It's all a position battle, exactly. And Genji is very good at fighting for these type of positions. So I respect the monkey focus, but we should have already have gravitated this direction as soon as we saw it. Same examples we talked about with the Widow. Same thing. Probably shouldn't have right-clicked that. I think a left-click there would have made more sense. That right-click as well was not as good. So like there's a lot of fanning I'm seeing. So we're just gonna refer fan as like the 1, 2, 3 across instead of 1, 2, 3 directly. So it's a lot less accurate. It's a lot less accurate. There's a lot less of a chance of you hitting more than one shuriken. And so the fire rate really only makes sense against bigger targets in medium ranges or squishy targets in close ranges. And right now that's a squishy target at a medium range, so it doesn't match either of our criteria. So no, thank you. And like you're committing dashing here, but it's not the play. Because the thing is again, okay, now here's the thing. Is this pressure, okay? So let's look at this. Is this pressure on Ana right now? Obviously, yes. Obviously, yes. And we actually could almost killed her there if we were a little cleaner. But the problem is that if you do not get this kill, which there was really no guarantee that you were going to, because look at when you commit. Look at when you commit. She's basically full HP. She gets hit by a fire strike. That's the only reason that she was even somewhat close to being killable. Where's your escape route here? Where's your escape route here? You either need to guarantee the kill or guarantee an escape route. Now that can either be a wall climb out and away. It could be you could drop off of high ground and then run away. So in other words, you could like just jump up here, dash into the Widow here, and then just like drop and then run under here and get away. But there's no escape route here whatsoever. You're all in, and you all in on a target that was not even close to being low in HP, and you knew nothing about the state of her resources either. Right? So you didn't know cooldowns, you have no escape route, and she wasn't low HP. Strike 1, strike 2, strike 3, you're out. And you should die for this. You should die for this because it's the pressure that you get out of this is high, but the risk is high. And the chances of you actually getting kills here is extremely low. Extremely low. That nade should have hit you and you should be dead. And you probably are dead. Yeah, no, instead what's gonna happen is this. Your poor Ana is like, what is my Genji doing? She trying to heal you, chucks a nade, and then she dies because she's tunneled on healing you and not playing around the Widow. This is your fault. I want you to understand, this is your fault. You need to learn to be aggressive, but also clinical with Genji. Surgical with your approaches, with how you look at the game. No more Genji, no aim, no brain Genji man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to think. You need to think about poking these guys out and controlling high grounds and controlling spam and angles and whether you should be fanning or left clicking or whether you should be dashing into an Ana with full cooldowns who wasn't even half HP. And you had no escape route. There's just no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that. You open this VOD with text. It says, I think I played pretty well. Well, science has already determined that that's not a fact. I mean, this is lost. You're not recontesting this. I wouldn't commit my life there. Like, I mean, you can easily get out. I don't know why you committed your life there. You could be farming up your blade. You could be, and again, if we look at things from a raw pressure perspective, you dying here instead of just simply getting out means that you're going to lose high ground more easily because this team is going to run forward and take high ground that you could have helped contest, right? And so if you're going to lose high ground because you die on point, that means that you probably also have a higher chance of losing the next fight. So there's just, it's a snowball effect of where you need to be looking at the game from a completely different perspective. In what situation is Genji the optimal pick? And with maps where there's a lot of high ground without a lot of long sight lines, and against compositions that have less mobile heroes. Widowmakers, Hanzos, Bastions, to an extent McCree. It's not a favorable one-on-one matchup, but like if you can get help, he's good against sniper comps. Use Ashe is a relatively favorable matchup, but it has to be the specific map in Hero, because the problem with Genji is the fact that the type of maps that he's good on are the shorter sightline maps with a lot of high ground. But then if you go to those type of maps, King's Row, you're probably not going to be playing up against snipers. You're probably going to be playing up against Reapers and Maze and McCrees and Junkrats, which Genji doesn't like playing into very much. So it's like a catch-22. The type of maps that he's good at are the type of maps where you're going to see DPS that he's not good at. And the type of maps that he's good at those heroes. In other words, he's good against Havana-style heroes, but he's not very good on a point like this. Can you imagine? Like, Genji's just atrocious at this because of these wide open spaces. So he's like, he likes short sightlines, but he doesn't, and he likes sniper maps, snipers, but he doesn't like sniper maps. So it's a fundamental flaw in his design right now. Not in his design, because he's a well-designed hero, but like in where he fits in the meta right now. Why are you going in? Why are you going in? Look at the cart. Look at the cart. Remember what we talked about last time? Remember we talked about last time where we talked about like your ability to recontest and hold high ground is a problem here? Look at it again. This fight is clearly lost, and instead of like just simply just backing out and holding space or just building blade and just chilling and not feeding and wasting time, you go in again. You tunnel again, all the way through. You also have a Brig, which is good. The Brig is a good part. Brig is very helpful for you.
The experiment is ready. Time for a graphitic flux.
Actually, can somebody clip that about the Genji pick? Because I've never been asked that question before. And that was a very good question. I've been dying for somebody to ask that question. It's like somebody asking your grandma like what she used to do as a little girl. She's like, well, let me tell you. You know, it's like, she's been waiting 46 years for someone to ask her that question. Thought we played that pretty well. Right, we fed first fight, cost our entire team the first point, staggered once, and then staggered again. Spilo is your grandma. I want you calling me Gandamal now. That's my new name, Gandamal. So this is kind of what Genji's good at, right? So you're thinking like, remember you're clearing off the off angles a little bit. So you can threaten this far here. You're not going to kill her, but you can be like, boo, right? And what does that do? Well, it makes her back away and allows you guys to get through the choke easier. But again, you don't commit here unless you're sure that you're going to get the kill. Because remember, like Tracer, you're kind of like a shepherd. You force enemy teammates to like go away from good positions. I don't know why I'm doing this hand motion, but they kind of squeeze in. Pharah wants to take this angle here. No, you have to go away. Shu, go away. Shu, go away, or I'll dash you and kill you. Or I might not. You never know. Could kill you at one hit point time, right? It's the threat, okay? So just you doing this right here, great.
I am ready.
Right, that right there, great. But what do? You once again overcommit, and you're all the way in. You're all the way in. You're all the way in, and look at your team. Look at your team, man. You don't need to go in just yet. You're still, first off, you're still missing your Brig, or your BAP, excuse me. But you're all the way in. You're all the way in. Way ahead of your team, not paying attention to where your team is, and you're feeding over and over and over again. In a scrum situation, it's important to ask for help in contesting off angles. Yes. Yes, absolutely. In fact, I would go as far to say that that's one of the most important communicational things you can do in a scrum. Remember when I don't know if you guys were here for the Egoist Cat collaboration that we had last week, last Thursday, I think. We literally talked about how planning, it demands people calling for help to win the map. It's so important in a scrum environment. I pocket me. I'm going to do this. That's like one of the best things you can hear in a scrum, because it gives the team direction with what they need to do. It's decisive. It solves the map control problem. So it deals with the positioning, it deals with the timing, and it deals with the planning. 3 points in one. So yes, if the Genji says, pocket me, I want to clear this far out, great. It gives the entire rest of the enemy to his team the exact direction with what they're supposed to do. Now this isn't a scrum, so, but if this were a scrum, you're feeding, man. Like, you're feeding. Like, where were you? Where were you? Where were you? Where have you been? Oh dear, that's a really rough slash miss. So the Nano Blade's kind of a feed, to be honest, because there's no follow-up. This is what you never, ever, 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 ever want to see. because there's just no follow-up here. You could kill 3 or 4 here by yourself and you'd still lose. Nanoblade is a team ult where if you're going to, because here's the thing, people complain about, oh, I get spash, slash, bumped, camped, crashed, spammed, stomped, and slopped. Oh, Genji's such a dog hero, man. Okay, yeah. But your timing probably sucks if you're absorbing every single cooldown. And if your timing doesn't suck and you're still absorbing every single cooldown, then your team is going to be like, oh, well, let's just kill them now because they literally don't have anything left and they'll easily win the team fight. But like, look at you now. I had high hopes for our Genji friend. But so far, we have done nothing but disappoint. Right, Nanoblade is easy to deal with 6-1. You could sacrifice half of your team to Nanoblade in a 6v1 and still win the fight. So we have thrown the first point, staggered once, staggered twice, fed, and then fed again and wasted Nanoblade. And this is where Genji is not good. Well, okay, that's not fair. Genji is very bad over here. Genji is less bad over here because the map gets more congested. But you have to be very careful. So this is where with Genji here, especially against the Widowmaker, you might play not necessarily behind Rein Shield, but you might start behind Rein Shield. You might start kind of swing over here, deflect because of Widow, and try to like hug this wall here, poke, 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 bait a Winston jump, dash back to your team, right? But you're not gonna stack with your Rein, but you're also gonna play angles where that Widow doesn't shoot you. If that's the same goes for Ashe, the same goes for Hanzo, the same goes for McCree to a lesser extent, Soldier. Any hero that can outrange you, you want to avoid their sightlines or threaten them directly. And you can't threaten this Widow without being inside of her own backline, so it's pointless. So I do not like what we're doing right now. This does not make sense. Because even this right there, you're like, oh, he's avoiding the sniper sightlines. Sort of, kind of, maybe. But do you see how deep he is doing it? You're not a Tracer. You're not a Sombra. You generally aren't going to want to be doing things like this, especially against compositions that have a lot of mobility. If this comp is like Orisa, maybe you could get away with this. Bastion, maybe you could get away with this, but they're just going to chase you down. So you have to simultaneously take more conservative angles, but not take angles. Probably you need to get out of here. You need to get out of here. Yeah. Your back is to a lot of spam DPS. So this is where, okay, so this is where we start to think again. This is where we start to be clinical. We start to think, okay? This is where you probably would want to swing this way and poke out the D.Va this way. Short sightline, you've got dash, you've got wall climb to get out if you need to. You've got cover, right? This is where you could start to swing this way and poke out from here. This is where you could flank around coast and sneak up this way and maybe one-shot somebody as they push through. This is where you can theoretically stand behind here, but you have to be really careful. So there's a lot of options here, but what we're doing right now is not what we want to be doing for long, right? We've won this fight. Oh dear, that's a waste. Careful, careful, careful. Back, 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 back. Be careful about that jump in front of the Widow there. Oh, yeah, there was a window we could have maybe got him, but sure, it's not worth it. So you're probably gonna kite here to kite out the Widow ultimate, and then you're just gonna play the back point of point, and which is good for you. Like that gives you, that's kind of like the space that we talked about. That's gonna give you a lot of opportunities for flanks. And remember, they also have to try and use flanks to break this choke, so you're more likely to run into like a Widowmaker doing something stupid here, or Hanzo wall climbing up here. And those are things you're good against those heroes in close ranges, right? You're good against those heroes in close ranges, so that is an advantage that you can abuse against them, right? Take notes. That's unfortunate, but like right here, like yeah, you might as well just stay here because for example, like right here, where's the off angle that we can spam from safely with cover? Nowhere. Maybe we could go here and like do this here, remember here, as long as we were careful of Widow, maybe, but I'd be spooked of Widow. So I don't have a problem with what we're doing here. We're not taking a fight here. We're avoiding Widow here. There's nowhere for us to position here. So I don't have a problem with this. Hi, good girl. She gets lonely. She has to sit in my lap, but she gets sad. I would probably be aiming for Winston, not Hanzo here. Because like you aim your shurikens off of what does the most pressure, and you're going to miss most of your shurikens on squishies at this range, and also there's zero chance of following up off of an actual kill there. You kind of see what I'm saying? So like you would rather pressure the tank because it's actual pressure, and maybe you can actually get a kill on that tank, or force good more cooldowns. Whereas if you land a couple shurikens on an Ana, that's just not going to happen. Like, you're just not going to get a kill there. You would focus on shurikening these guys if you're on a shorter sight line, or you're like where you could actually like maybe dash and kill them. You kind of see what I'm saying? So I'm not saying focus tanks. I'm just saying in this circumstance, because you can't possibly kill or pressure squishies, don't focus squishies. You go for the easiest shots for Genji? Yes, you go for the easiest shots, and you also make sure that you're in the right position. If you're on an like you go on a high ground and you see, oh, there's a squishy rotating, I can maybe kill him or scare them, then you pressure those heroes. If you're like, okay, I'm on a good angle here, a good flank, I'm playing around high ground, but I can't see backline, I can only see tanks, so the tanks are the easiest thing to shoot, then yes, you can just shoot tanks. Because Genji does a decent amount of damage. It's not high damage by any like stretch of the word, but he does a decent amount of damage against tanks. But the key thing is to be in the right position first, and then just shoot what's easy. Like, that's something that we talked about with Egoist Cat. It's like, it's less about like target prioritization and more about positional prioritization. That's a problem that so many Overwatch guides fail to prioritize or fail to point out. This is not just Genji, Tracer, Widowmaker, anybody. It's not about who you shoot. It's about where you're shooting from, and because that will dictate who you shoot. This is kind of weird niche situation here, but I don't mind you stopping cart here. You don't want to stay here. You're going to dash out anytime you get contested, but this is fine. Like, you're doing a cute little I'm mobile, you're not going to be able to kill me kind of a thing, and this is valuable. Like, you're going to they're spending a lot of resources, but they're not getting any space for it. So I would definitely be prioritizing the squishies though right now, or looking at them, because they're pushing up and they're scaring me, and like a little bit of a lack of awareness here. Because like look at what you're doing right now. I don't think you have any idea that they're literally standing on top of you. So you need to be looking at them now. Nice, 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 nice. Uh-oh, that's not so nice. I don't think you knew that she had Valk or whatever. Right, so this is what we're talking about. Okay, I want us to like, this encapsulates everything that we love about Genji, okay? The lack of awareness. No, it's this right here. Okay, dash, right click melee. Goodbye. You're really good at this. These assassinations. That's what Genji. That's what the hero is designed to do. Okay, this, you know, you dash a little high, you 180 a little slow. We won't go too much in the micro, although we could, but we're not going to. And again here, right? You're at 120 HP. You're almost half HP here, and you do not have your dash, but you still have the advantage in this duel. Like, I would say 7 times out of 10 you're gonna win this duel, unless she has a Venomine placed here already. Why? Because it's a sniper at close range, and Genji farms. And what makes, and you could say that about really any hero, but what makes Genji unique is the fact that Genji can usually get to these locations that other heroes can't. He can access sniper nests and sniper duels and flanks and get up and personal with these guys when heroes like McCree, Soldier, and even Doomfist to an extent just can't as easily, or not. It's certainly not as obvious, not as subtly, right? So well done. Dash out, very nice. Unfortunate. I don't know if your Ana just didn't heal you, or like you were. Yeah, your Ana just tunneled. Your Ana just chunked it, but like, it is what it is. You get credit for that. That was good.
Let us hope for a different outcome.
Okay. Again here, this is where we really hate playing Genji. Right click, right click, right click, right click, right click, right click. This is where Genji's not so bad, because they've jumped in past the supports LOS, and this is where you can do a world of hurt to this monkey in the face. Right? Because you can focus him, and you don't have to respect the snipers anymore. But yeah, right there. He's 1 HP, he almost dies, well done. And now where do we go? It's the one you asked for. Thank you so much. Now where do we go? Now, you know, you can put some shurikens on ball, whatever. But I would not even be committing deflecting this. I would be like, all right, see y'all. I'm piecing out here, and I'm just gonna sit here, or I'm gonna sit right here, or I'm gonna dash out and like start to creep around this way, right, and flank this way, right? Because this is exactly what we're looking for with Genji. We get those snipers up close and personal, and they have to do aggressive stuff because they can't see anything unless they do aggressive stuff. And when they do aggressive stuff, they get steel to the jaw. Because I get it. I get that these like opportunities are attractive, but the chances of that happening versus that cooldown's just wasted is yeah, it's not great. This is good. Right? Now, I would not go monkey here. Now, we've talked about like prioritize, like we can pressure tanks when they're on our angle, when they're on our space. And this monkey's on our space, right? But why would we not pressure monkey here? Compare this situation to what was 15 seconds ago. When it comes to prioritizing monkey. Here versus here. Whoops, I went too far forward. Think about it. The distance is closed. And not only that, but this location provides significantly more escape and engage opportunities. I can dash through, I can drop, I can wall climb back up, flash to deflect, and I'm all up in their grill. And these heroes, this is literally just, you're licking your lips looking at these heroes. Because these heroes are not at all happy with this matchup and this proximity. And so this is where we ignore the monkey, we turn our attention towards the squishies that are in close range, and you annihilate them. Especially with your Reinhardt. Because your Reinhardt's a little bit like you, right? He wants to avoid those guys at range. He doesn't like those guys at range, but if they get too close enough, he'll hit them with his hammer. The difference between you and Reinhardt is your ability to engage these guys from multiple different directions and your ability to close the distance on them quickly. And the thing is like, now I don't know what it's like in silver and gold and platinum. Things happen in lower ranks, right? But the funny thing is you're not really in a rush to do anything here. So they've just popped Infrasight and they've Sonic here, and you're like, oh shoot, like somebody, what if the snipers gets a pick? If one of the snipers gets a pick, it's really not your fault. It's really not your fault, at least right now, because if you look at like how your team is positioned here, like what should this Widow be able to see? What should this Hanzo be able to see? Your supports are already feeding, because their supports really should, well, I mean, your tanks are mostly feeding. Your tanks are the big ones feeding, but your tanks really should just be like, all right, we're just going to play the choke. Come on. We dare your snipers to take stupid flanks on us. Come on. Because we're going to hide behind a wall, and we're going to contest the cart like this. And as you walk into the choke, you're going to get naded, and you're going to get dove by Sigma. And the only thing that they can do is do a stupid flank to break it, but if you take a stupid flank to break it, I just hope our Genji isn't there. You know what I'm saying? So like right now, yes, abso-freaking-lutely shoot the ball. Please don't force a duel at this range in these guys. Don't force duels in the squishies if they're not up in your grill. If you can't get up in their grill, then you either need to find a way to get up in their grill, or you need to shoot other things, right? Okay? That's your Widow's fault. It's not your fault. We've got Nano Blade. We're all right. Do you feel the lack of urgency right now? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all, by the way. Like, what's the rush? They've got, oh no, they've got 2 kills. They've used Infrasights and Hans. Yeah, but look at the cart. Look at the choke. They're still stuck in the choke. They've used Mines, Infrasight, Hanzo, Nano. They're still stuck in the choke. They're still stuck here. And at any point in time, if they get just a little bit closer, you're going to go Ryuji no Kinwoko Rei, and they're dead. So there's no rush here. Goodbye. And you just have to stall a card. Oh, wow. Nice shot from your Widow. And you're fine. You'll recontest this. So, micro here. Is there anything we could have done micro-wise? Let's look at this again. So it could have been a little faster with the deflect there, you know? Maybe a little faster with the deflect there. But, I mean, not a whole lot. And that's it. Respawn advantage, positional advantage, they've accomplished nothing. And the same thing here. Peek and deflect a little bit, go for a cheeky kill, I get it. But But you know, I would also, by the way, if you're not, because now you can no longer peek this. There's no advantage to peek this. So to me, there's no reason not to like be looking for things like this, right? Or to like to maybe even honestly, I don't know if I'd dash across. Maybe dash across and do like this, throw shurikens like this, or like wall climb up and throw some shurikens, right? One thing you can do here is I would not like repeat this over and over again, because eventually the Widow Hanzo might reposition and like lay a log on you, you know, throw a Sonic here. But you could do things like wall climb up, throw some shurikens, you know, different things like that. And worst case scenario, if you're really not confident and that Widow's just like clicking off, or they've got Sonic or Infra Sights, just stand and wait. When you're nanoblading, it's always a predict, almost always a predict.
30 seconds.
Like right now, yes. Why not? What else is there to do? You know? Sure. I'm a little scared there. I was fully expecting Widow shots. Oh, she's repositioning. You're a little risky there. But again here, like right now, you've got options here. What you're gonna do is you're gonna see Widow shot here, and you're gonna go sayonara, chick, right? And you're gonna either kill her or she's gonna drop, and either way your job is done, and you're gonna resume annihilating the tank line. So let's hopefully we dash this, right? Because it matches what we want, right? Short sight lines. You have to see this Widow shot. You have to see this. It's a second Widow shot there. Ah, she got away with it. That's really, really unfortunate, and that's your fault. I would not commit this just yet. Yeah, so this is the difference between this and the other one is because you don't have follow-up, and they see you. You don't have the element of surprise. So to be honest, you just being here is scary for them, right? Ha, boo, right? Boo, right? Just chill. Just keep them on the back foot, and then you can even shoot some tanks a little bit, you know, or at the very least, like just keep these guys respected, and then when they get a little closer, you can dive them. You should also track that they have trance as well, which means that you really cannot hard commit here. You need to run away. I don't know why you're staying. That's just a load of horse crap. I'm sorry. This is so stupid from you. Like you force trance. I'm really proud of you. Well done. Instantly, this deflect needs to be carried out in duration, and you need to drop off the side of them, point here, and then like wait for either the Hanzo to chase you, or for the trance to go trance here, or to ignore you, or whatever, and then you can re-engage afterwards. You're standing inside of a trance without cooldowns. This makes no sense whatsoever. And you get unbelievably lucky, and there's your karma right there. But a lot of this, by the way, this all snowballs because of this. This is the moment when you lost this team fight right here. When this Widow is allowed to grapple to it a really aggressive location, and you're not there to absolutely pie her in the face. Like one giant big banana meringue pie, and a little rotten too, right in the face, and you just let her. And it continues. Do you see how while you're busy forcing aggression in the enemy team's backline, their Widow is literally frontlining, and she's not getting punished for it. Like, we're gonna keep watching her.
No one can hide from my sight.
Like, we're gonna see that clip on Noob Hunter. You know what I'm saying? That's a 6K, and that's on you. That's on you. That's on you. She literally presses W right through you, and you just let her go. And meanwhile, you're forcing the backline on a really, really stupid pressure. So my point is this. Control angles, control sightlines, short flanks usually. Against most compositions. There's exceptions, like if they're running Reaper May or something like that, you do have to kind of play it like a spam hero, but you're still playing on an angle, right? And you're the gatekeeper for aggressive, greedy flanks from squishy DPS. Threatening or actually securing kills to prevent them from actually abusing that space. And even if there are no aggressive squishy DPS, then you're still going to stay here, and instead you're going to use this as a launching pad for unloading absolute steel on the enemy tank line. For example, if they're running a brawl comp, you would still play up here, not to stop the enemy Reaper from TPing up here. I mean, maybe that would be helpful. But also just if the Reinhardt, Zarya, D.Va walk through here, they walk into a turnstile of like Blade Storm. You know what I'm talking about? Right click, the back of the head. If they focus you, you dash away, or you walk away, and you go back again, you do it again. Every job that you have revolves around positioning. whether it's gatekeeping, whether it's pressuring, whether it's shepherding, whether it's dueling, it all revolves around putting yourself in the right position. And then once you get there, what you do with it. And it's incredibly important that you actually make the proper decisions and where you're positioning. So right now, what we're struggling with is we're struggling with knowing our priority, with what we need to be doing. With what we need to be doing, but also putting ourselves in this position to begin with. That, and honestly, a lot of feeding on second point. Like a lot of forcing, rushing, running in and dying. Okay? They're on Junkrat. Now, Junkrat is a really awkward one. Junkrat is a one where you have to kind of keep your distance a little bit unless he doesn't have cooldowns. You can threaten brawls with him, but he's a little spooky, especially if he's got a conk. So, or if you're blind. But like, yeah, I do not want the I do not want this. A good Junkrat would have already concussive mined you there. So I respect. Okay, so this is where again positioning comes into play. I respect you taking an angle here. But what do you think would be the play here? Let me break down this macro game for you, okay? If Junkrat's not here, you can take this and put some pressure here, for sure. If Junkrat's here and starts spamming you, you probably need to dash out and leave. And you're going to put very, very conservative pressure on this D.Va. You might dash across here and start farming this D.Va again. You're going to push cart, you're going to push them back. As you push them back, instead of going back to here, which usually would be an okay sight lane, it's nice and short and it's a nice little flank, but because of the Junkrat, it's no longer available. Instead, you're going to do this. Push them back, and then you're going to do this sneaky. You're going to throw shurikens here on tanks if you want, or if you see a sniper here, you're going to dash up, get rid of her or kill her, and then drop. Hide underneath, grab a health pack, whatever. And obviously make sure your tanks are like pushed forward somewhat. And then you're going to constantly, if that Widow has to leave, she cannot stay. Because she's always thinking that's Genji is somewhere, and you're just going to contest this constantly until they leave. And when that Widow and Rein leave, or leave this high ground, which you will force them to leave, you then have a little bit of a difficult time. But you can do things like this. You can avoid the Widow sightlane and farm tanks from under. You can go high ground and avoid the Widow sightlane and farm tanks from over. You can theoretically wait till the engages happens and then creep up and dash directly up to high ground. Very aggressive, but you're on high ground, so they can't instantly kill you. The Widow will probably drop, and you can kind of deflect and kind of chill and wait, you know, hopefully hide, you know. So you kind of see how I'm breaking down this engage. It's almost like a step-by-step process of clearing out space, clearing out angles, and putting pressure all while you're doing that. Pressure, positioning, over and over. Always at the same time as your team. Because you're doing these kind of things, but this is not a favorable matchup for you where you are right now. So why are you here? You see what I'm saying? If you're gonna play Genji, it's like standing behind Reinhardt shield 24/7 and shooting against a McCree comp. It's not a favorable matchup for you. McCree will outdamage you. He will outspam you. That is not what you're good at. So play to your strengths, and you're not playing your strengths right now. You see the struggle? Like good, but do you see how obvious that was? Do you see how direct that was? Do you see how there was even a window of opportunity for that Widow to hit a headshot as you're engaging because of how awkward that was? Do you see how little pressure you did leading up to that fight? In other words, we would have liked to see you put a lot more pressure on the D.Va before the fight even started. Forcing nade, forcing boosters, forcing matrix, building more blade, and then having a better engage on the end goal. So I appreciate this, but it's like building a house out of Play-Doh, right? You built the house, but how you got there was crap. And it's not going to last too long either. Because the fact that you even had to blow your deflect to close the distance is already kind of a red flag. Be very careful. But you see what I'm talking about though? Like you still scuff this up in every single way, shape, and form. And even the micro of the engagement. You're double jumping in front of a Widow. Like what? And not 80-80 strafing? What? And guess what? But value is gotten. Look at the pressure. Widow's dead. You opened up a favorable duel for your Widow. That Mercy can't res, or she's going to die. So that Mercy gives up high ground. And if this Mercy gives up high ground, look at what you have here. Look at what you have. Do you see this? Not only have you forced D.Va attention, but look at this. This is a smorgasbord of ult charge. Reinhardt in the back, D.Va in the back. You can take a duel with Ana now. You can kill Mercy once she drops. You can anything you want to do now, you can do it, and you will get away with it. Uh-oh, that's unfortunate. So mechanical failure happens. Don't worry about it. But like right now, look. Where's the support for that Reinhardt and Junkrat right now? Right? Just don't die. Just don't die. Just keep doing what you're doing. Probably a little early in the deflect there. Yeah, so way too early in the deflect, right? You got a little greedy with it. Yeah, you got a little greedy with it, and you did dash away. And your Ana can't heal you because... Well, first off, you're in too deep. So yeah, you just greeted your deflect. You just greeted your deflect. And by greed, I'm saying you just kind of used it just for no particular reason, right? A D.Va at like sniper range, right? And you could have just poke, deflect, and then you could have stayed a little longer and then dashed out. You would have gotten healed, but because you're down there Widowmaker, and because you forced D.Va, and because you forced Mercy, and because you forced Ana, this Reinhardt's not really very happy about what's going on right now. Do you see how you forced Ana nade, right? You forced Ana nade because you took all the attention away from their Reinhardt. The Reinhardt wasn't getting any help. So right now you're dying because you overstayed your welcome for no particular reason, and you use your deflect in a situation that makes no sense whatsoever. And all of the work that you did to set that up is wasted. And I know that you're like, well, my team didn't help me. I didn't get healing, I didn't get pressure. Well, that's because your D.Va got demeched because you were playing literally 5v6 because of what you're doing for the first half of the fight. And then your team got picked. Unfortunate. But you still played as if you were up, people. I'm glad that you were up there. I'm glad that you were putting pressure, but you still need to think, I'm still down one. I got to be careful. And you didn't act any differently. And now we're back to here again. You still are not, now we've used nade. Like he overextends, but considering he's getting baited, but this is like a it's like outsmarting a bear. You know, you outsmarted the stupid old animal that doesn't have any like common sense, but at the you risk getting your throat like smashed to bits. Like, would you really want to take that? Do you really want to assume that the Junkrat's gonna do something really stupid? Is that what you're relying off of? And by the way, circumstances here haven't changed. How you want to engage, you can be a little bit cute about it. You could dash underneath and not even go directly for the Widow. Just throw shurikens here and then wall climb up later. But the answer is still the same. If the Widow's still going to be on high ground, you still can't let her do this. You cannot let her do this. Good. Do you see this? There's your value. There it is. Now your Ana can breathe, your Brig can breathe, your Rein can breathe. Good. Nobody can rely on this Junkrat player to do something stupid. I mean, it is a Junkrat player, so But do you see what I'm talking about here? You get the high ground. You don't even need to go for Widow right now because you don't have your cooldowns. She's kind of far away. She's not kind of far away, but you don't have cooldowns. So what do you need to do? Just shoot D.Va, right? So this is not only a good position to get rid of Widow, but this is also a good position to do damage. Nice job. Very good. So now I want you to pay attention to your tank line. And then, hey, look at that. That Widow is not put in a very awkward position. She doesn't have a good position. She doesn't reposition well at all. So what's actually funny is it's not just that you deny good positions to them, you make them move. Here's the rule of Overwatch, chat. When you make the enemy team move and have to figure out problems, they're not AI. They will do stupid things. This Widow had a fairly decent good position on high ground. But then instead of adjusting properly, because she's human, look at her. This is not a very safe position. She just gave away her position. And then she's thrown off her game, and then she gets annihilated. You kind of see what I'm saying? So you force her to make it. It's a forced error in a way. In a way. All right. So now she's dead. So what do I want you doing? I do not want you playing like cart monkey here. You're gonna drop if you want to, and you're gonna swing right this way. And you're gonna start putting pressure. You're gonna throw shurikens. You're gonna dash on the Ana. You're gonna prevent the res. I don't know what you're doing. Your team is pushing up. Push up. Push up. Take space. Come to here. Come to here. Dash in here and swing this way. Go. AI is smart compared to our Genji player, yes. Sorry, that was a roast. I'm not supposed to do that. Oh. I'm sorry, chat. I need a break. It could not have been better timing. Could not have been better timing for my little AI remark. Now, to be fair, I have no idea how this blade is going to go. This might be a 6-man, 6K, you know, montage classic. But what is the major issue with what we're doing right now? Not only did we fail to push up initially, take space, kill, put pressure, etc., etc., etc. I mean, this fight should have already been done. This fight, if we and our Ana, if you and your Ana had actually pushed up here instead of being like really stupid in your Brig as well, there would no need to blade at all. These guys would already be dead. But yeah, we're gonna go all in a location where there's no follow-up. Like, you don't need to do anything. Wait a couple seconds. Wait for them to come out. Wait for the tanks to start trading so there's distractions. The Ana's looking elsewhere. The Ana may have already used Sleep Dart or Nade. The Junkrat's not even looking at you. Instead, you're going all the way into their backline, hard forcing it. Goodbye. Please die. No. Like I said, we have no idea how that... Like, it's Nanoblade. Especially in mid-ranks, you just never know. But, like, no. You get no credit for this whatsoever. I was really hoping we dash in a blade, yeah. There's a realistic chance of that. Okay, this is good. This is good. You can either contest snipers or you can contest tanks. Right now, the snipers are kind of far back, or the snipers aren't even there. You might as well just clean this up, yeah. Like, you have millions of escape routes here. Early deflect again. You need to dash out. So this is the real catch. So I want you to look at our positioning, chat, and tell me what the problem is. I mean, and I get why we're here. We're chasing Mercy, right? Totally fine. By the way, there's literally a Widow in her spawn. Just thought I'd point that out. What's the problem here? Advantage that we've been talking about against this composition, at least, consistently throughout this VOD. Cover, yeah. Close distance. And little things like a better health pack. High ground is certainly more relevant as well. Exactly. So I can, as Genji, spam a lot greedier and threaten things like Ana. And if that Widow, whereas as we looked like we anticipated, was back here, we can actually threaten that as well. Instead, we're split from our supports. We're out in the open against sniper comps. And ultimately, we're not like, look at the Widow, look at the Widow, look at the Widow. We can't threaten this Widow from where we are. We just can't. Do you see this? We can't threaten this Ana from where we are. We just can't. And the thing is, it's not just about you can't threaten the Widow, you can't threaten the Ana. You can't threaten anybody. You can't go up here and shoot tanks. Why? Because to shoot tanks, you have to walk in front of Ana, who's going to shoot you. To shoot tanks, you have to walk in front of Widow, who's going to shoot you. So your entire positioning is making your job of whether it's assassinating backline, farming ult, or shooting tanks impossible. It's like trying to drag race in a scooter. Like, it doesn't matter how good of a driver you are. It's impossible for this. It is no world in which this is going to work. Probably shouldn't have gone for that. She was kind of feeding, and it was a dual advantageous to you, and it was a short sight lane, and you could close the distance quickly, and maybe I can see it, like the fight, but I probably would have reset. I think that would have been better than staggering there. That's like a bad decision, but a good strategy, if that makes sense. Okay. We have Blade again. We have Nanoblade again. Uh-oh. Now, chat, grade this blade for me. Grade this blade. What do you think about the timing of this blade? Not the mechanics, the timing. It's not great, but the enemy team is engaging. As we were blading, we're like, we're going. You can see our Reinhardt and D.Va aggressively pushing as we start to blade. And because they're bomb engaging, they're more likely to be split as well. But there's an actual team fight actually breaking out right now, as opposed to where before it was like we were just kind of standing there and like we just go all the way in. So this is more understandable. This is not good. This is not textbook, but this is more understandable. I think what you could have argued to be the case is that you could have just tried to hide and survive Diva Bomb and then blade afterwards when there's more follow-up. But I understand why you go for this. This is... You need to avoid this pin. This is like the... Yeah. It is what it is. Okay, so I'm curious where we're going to sit on cart. Oh, this is like every Genji's dream if you had dash here, man. Or if you'd hit a couple shurikens. If you'd had a couple hit a couple shurikens here, like this is just 1v3 right here. Oh, that's sad. You lose this, so just get a kill. Don't prolong your death. Yeah, just die quickly, but make him hurt, you know. Did his Ryan drop off the high after he started blading? I'm not sure. How is she getting these kills? Oh, she isn't. I thought she got a kill. Haha. Again, I'm just not a huge fan of the side of the map that we're contesting on. I just feel like this side of the map makes a lot more sense given it's got shorter sightlines and there's better cover and you can threaten more things from here. But I might be wrong, right? Like I've played a lot of Genji in the past. I've coached a lot of Genji in the past. I know the hero, but I don't know every single map and every single little tip and trick and perfect little dash location here. And that's for you to find out. But what I do challenge you to do is to actually take the things that we're talking about here and like actually apply yourself. Think about like, where should I go here? Okay, so they're on, like Spyro said, go here. But they're hard holding high ground here with like Junkrat, Reaper, and crap. And like every single time I go here, I just get like a Reaper and like a Moira on me instantly. So wait, this is open space. They're running Reaper, Junkrat. So yeah, I'm gonna go over here. You know, don't just turn off my brain. Think about why I'm saying the things I'm saying. It's because of the snipers. If there's no snipers, I would probably like you to be over here. Good angle. There's a little bit of high ground. It's not great cover, but you're not up in the face of Reaper and Mei and Junkrat and Moira, right? So that's the point here. So they're off Widow. So what we've seen from you is pretty consistently is that like there are some fights that are just feel unwinnable, but that you're consistently like alternating team fights. It's like I throw a fight, my team throws a fight. I throw a fight, my team throws a fight. She was looking for you. Turd. A little bit of panic here. Oh no. We just needed to take a second to survey the battlefield. If you'd taken half a second, you would have easily found Baby and you would have found Ana as well. Yeah, we just kind of panicked a little bit. Nice escape. Nice escape. Please, 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 please be careful. Please be careful. Yeah. We're gonna watch a little more chat, but we're a little already over time, so. Okay, it's
60 seconds remaining.
You kind of see what you're doing here? What are you doing here? You're taking an angle where Widow doesn't have good LOS so that you can spam tanks and put pressure. There you go. That's what we want to see. Oh. Again, this kind of duel is something that you have an advantage on, but you don't want to all in here, right? So for example, this right here is mostly okay. It's mostly okay. It's a little greedy, but you just need to use your cooldowns. Like you need to deflect this and dash out. Even if you don't get the kill, you force a lot of resources, you scare the pants off the enemy backline, and you've done your job. This is just, yeah, it's just a feed. It's just a mechanical mistake. Don't leave it. I mean, I guess, whatever. No. 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 They're not contesting you. This Widow is not even anywhere close to high ground, and you know this. You take this as an opportunity to swing here for scouting information, right? Or to put pressure on the enemy monkey, right? Not this. This is, again, not advantageous to you as a hero. Yes, it's funny if you get the deflect headshot kill, but it either costs you your life or your cooldown. and potential pressure in the meantime. Oh, dude. Here's the problem. I really want to flame you, but I've been in this exact same circumstance where I've just choked under pressure, and so I know your agony, dude. I can't flame. I can't flame. It just hurts me because I've been in this exact same circumstance where you get nano and you choke and it feels awful. Thank you for not blading right now. Thank you for not blading. Thank you for just saying, you know what, we got to pick, this is still winnable, and chilling. Now, obviously, you're like, well, this is last fight. Yeah, but him committing on survival there, especially since considering they're up 2, is the better play. And then he can blade here. Go get her. Get her. Sick him.
No one can hide from my sight.
Okay. So we've been at this one for a long time. We've been at this one for a long time. We've been a little all over the place. The key thing for you is going to be the following. Setting yourself on a position where you can put pressure safely and consistently and threaten enemies that dare contest you at any point in time, especially if they're squishies. I just feel like I want you to go in a clinic. I've hopefully changed how you look at Genji a little bit. And then I want you to literally put yourself through an intensive self-clinic of how to position yourself. I want every single map, every single team fight to be, what should I do against this? What should I do against that? What about this point? Let me try this. Let me try that, right? A lot of trial and error, but I need you to figure this out. Because a lot of what you're doing is autopiloting and forcing duels, and you're not thinking about where you should position, how you should play against enemy composition, or anything like that. This should be a challenge, a conundrum that you have to solve. Because your mechanics aren't good, but your game sense is worse. Your positioning is worse. And if those get addressed, you will do better. You want to put yourself in a position where you can actually do stuff with your mechanics. Because as it is right now, there's a reason why Necros is like Hardstick Masters, okay? Or whatever. I don't even know what rank he is nowadays, right? You can be a phenomenal mechanical Genji, but if you don't know the hero, if you don't know what you need to bring to the table, if you don't know the strengths and the weaknesses, and you don't, and not just that you don't know, but you don't actually solve it, then you're going to really struggle. Especially considering he is not a very good hero right now. You think Genji is good in double bubble? Not really, no. You'd probably have to play Genji Tracer because you need a hero to take an angle or a flank. And Genji can't take an angle or a flank consistently in double bubble because he's going to run into an enemy Tracer, and that's not a matchup he wants to take. Like, Tracers can mirror each other, but I mean, I guess he could. I guess he could, because if he gets armor pack, he might be able to do okay against a Tracer. But he's not great. He's not bad in double bubble, no, but he's not good. Oh, what's the difference in playstyle between Genji and Doom? So, very similar. Genji is much more flexible with who and where he can engage on, though. Doom is a little bit more, I mean, you've got rollouts, which add some flexibility to that. But Genji's a lot more about like holding a position and applying consistent pressure and then assassinating quickly. And Doomfist is more about very fast cycles from unpredictable locations. So Doomfist is boom, boom, boom. Genji's is more little spike when he goes in for an assassination, and then mostly just low top 500 GM. Exactly. Like, it's absurd to me that a guy that is that good with his mechanics is low top 500. It's got to be like game sense thing. He's not good enough at contesting flank soft angles compared to other DPS and double bubble. Exactly. And the problem is then like you start to run into things like he struggles a little bit into, like, he has to worry about nade and sleep, and he has to worry about bash. He has to worry about McCree flashbang, things like that. Of course, King K. Right. I'm talking about top level. Genji could work in double bubble for any hero, any team, up to like, I would say 4.5k. And that's when you'd start to have issues with him, unless you had a really good Genji. And even then, it would be like, eh. We've played some Genji in double shield maps because, as we said, a Genji is very good against snipers. So you can run them on like maps where there's like a Havana first and play very aggressively, and that gives your Genji the short sightlines that he wants, and it gives him the sniper matchup that he wants. But then that gets pooped on if they open up like Brawl. That becomes a problem. So a little bit all over the place with that review, but I hope that kind of explained to you guys like what Genji does. He is a short range hero that likes contesting long range heroes and utilizing flanks, angles, and high ground to do so.